Hi, this is Sweet Life and I'm Natasha, back at it with the recipe for Berry Merry whole wheat French toast.
So now here we go, making some French toast. This is actually going to make quite a bit, so you can make it for if you're having like a sleepover. I guess adults can have sleepovers, right? Or say like for the holidays, you're getting up on Christmas morning or something like that, where you have quite a few people, or even just for your family, even meal prepping or whatever. It's going to make quite a bit of French toast. So you can actually start this the night before, but you can just as easily start it the morning of. It's a really easy thing to make. I mean, we've all had French toast, I'm sure, but it's an easy thing to make for a crowd, right? Or to make a large amount. And so what I'm starting with here is a bowl with just 8 eggs, right? And these are 8 large eggs, both the white and the yolk. And it's going to just be like a really simple thing. You put milk. In this case, I don't really do dairy like that. I don't like cow's milk. So I'm going to use almond milk. Soy milk is fine, or whatever kind of milk you prefer. Just a bit of sugar, cinnamon, and a little bit of vanilla, as well as just a little pinch of salt, which will just help to brighten up the flavor. So to this now, I am going to add about maybe a cup or so of milk. So you've got your milk in there. Just a splash of vanilla. A few drops. It's about a half teaspoon. Some cinnamon. So just about a teaspoon of cinnamon. You know, as you mix it up, you'll look to see if it looks like it has enough. You want to see it blended throughout. I'm going to add just a half cup of sugar. Actually, a little bit less than that. More like about a third or so. The reason being, I don't think you need like a lot of sugar. When it comes to like pancakes and French toast, I don't really like syrup on it. So I just put like enough sugar to sweeten it. But then, you know, if you use like pancake syrup or maple syrup, or if you do like a compote or something like that, in my case, I'm going to add a little bit of fresh fruit. You don't need as much sugar. So I'm just going to use a whisk, beat that all together. And I'm using a pretty small, well, a relatively small bowl in comparison to the amount of French toast that I'm going to use. The reason being, like, you'll be able to better immerse the bread into the egg batter. Whereas if you use a larger bowl, it's going to be more shallow. I feel like with this, you can dip it in far more easily and get better coverage. Especially when you get down to like the last little bit at the end. So you see, that's real simple. And so to that, I have just a little pinch of salt. Salt in baked goods and sweets and things like that is just like anything else you eat. It just helps to punch up the flavor. But you don't want it to be salty, so not too much. You don't want the salt to be forward. It should just help to complement the other flavors. All right. I have a sheet pan that I've just greased with some melted butter. Now, you can certainly do this overnight and let it sit, but I actually don't like the middle of the bread to be soggy. Like, I don't like soggy bread on a whole. So what I like to do is I really just like the outside to be coated in it and pop it into the oven. But if you like it to be more eggy in the middle, you can certainly let it soak overnight, and you know, it'll help to absorb it. In this case, I'm just going to put just so that it just coats the outside of it, and that's more than enough for me. All right. And so now here I have a whole bunch of bread, right? It's a lot. But in this case, I'm making like quite a bit. This is like 5 loaves of whole wheat bread that I've cut into maybe a little bit more than an inch, about that, maybe like an inch, inch and a quarter or so. And this is like if you're having for quite a bit of people. Or, you know, if you're making for your family, but you want to make for a few days, in comparison to breakfast meals that you can just pop in the microwave, a bagel or something along those lines, this takes a little bit more time. It's more so something you might make on the weekend, right, when you have time. But it's something that you can make on the weekend, but you make enough of it so that you can have throughout the week without having to make it in the morning. You can easily just take this out the fridge. You make like enough to last for a few days. You can take it out the fridge, warm it in the microwave for a few minutes, and you have a really nice breakfast. So now I'm going to just go through and just start dipping. And I'll just place it onto the grease pan that I have here. And like I said, real quick work. And just try not to drip it all about the place. And then as you're making this, like I start off by mixing the egg, but sometimes you might not have enough. So usually what I'll try to do is I try to start out with less than I need, or just about the amount that I think I'll need. But then I'll, if I find like I'm running low on the batter, I'll just quickly mix some up. Like it's really easy. You kind of average estimate, okay, I think I might need like 2 more eggs and, a little bit more milk and whatnot. And after you make it a few times, you kind of get a feel for it. And so I use butter rather than oil. Number one, because you get a little bit more flavor from butter. And then also because I find that butter, for whatever reason, to me, I think when you bake stuff and you grease your pan with butter versus oil, that it sticks less. Actually, I'm going to take one of these ends. And so I like crust. So like crust, the ends of the bread is like my favorite part of the bread. So pop that one on there. And then this I'm just going to pop into the oven. If you'd like, you can go ahead. If you want to just caramelize it a little bit. If you want a little bit more sugar, a little bit more cinnamon, you can just sprinkle it over the top. But in this case, I think I have enough. I might actually do just a little bit more cinnamon, just sprinkled over the top. And from here, you just continue going until you finish the batter and you finish with your egg. So in this case, I am going to sprinkle over just a bit of cinnamon. So this is the French toast. It's now out of the oven. And pretty much the way that I test it for doneness is when you first put it in, because you just put it into that egg batter, the top of it is going to be like kind of soggy, right? It'll feel like wet bread. But what I do is I put it into the oven. And I just start checking. At the point where I start checking it is when I can smell it, right? Like you'll smell the cinnamon, you'll smell the other spices and whatnot. But I just take my finger and I lightly tap the top of it. The top should feel kind of like a little crusty, right? Like if you think of when you toast bread, right? Or toasted. So it should kind of dry out a little bit, but it should still have some give to it. So as you can see, the toast, when I press on it, like it gives easily to your finger, but it has a kind of toasted feeling to it. At that point, I take it out, serve it up. Because it has a little bit of sugar in it, I don't think you need to add a lot of sugar. But if you'd like, you can have it with some pancake syrup. You can do maple syrup. You can make a berry compote, which is just a bit of fruit with some sugar, cornstarch, a bit of water. Very easy to put together. You can have that done in a few minutes. Or you can just do fresh fruit, as well as if you'd like, you can add some powdered sugar. You can do whipped cream. It's really up to you, however you want to present it and however you want to eat it. But here you go. This is very easy to make ahead. It's just a few ingredients, comes together really quickly. You can make it right when you're ready to eat it, or you can make it like the night before, have it sit overnight in the fridge, and then you just pop it into the oven the morning of.
Thanks for tuning in. To ensure you don't miss any episodes, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and check out my cooking at home playlist. Go ahead and click that thumbs up button if you like what you saw, and go ahead and share it on social media.